In the film Inception, the character Cobb is asked whether inception is possible or not. The concept of planting an idea in someone's mind. He goes on to explain it's simply not just planting an idea. It will change the person, who they are, their values, and their mindset. He then goes on to ask in another scene, what's the most resilient, a parasite or an idea? He says once an idea has taken hold over someone, it's almost impossible to eradicate. An idea that sticks, it's hard to shake. And this is similar to some people's mindsets that are so deeply and heavily rooted in a particular way, it shapes who they are as a person. Your mindset is how you make sense of the world. It influences how you think and feel, and how you behave in any given situation. For most people, your mindset falls in one of two categories. One that is a growth mindset or fixed. I think 80% of the time I think of myself as having a growth mindset, in a sense of if I think it, I can achieve it. And yes, it might sound airy-fairy, but in this day and age, if you're able to watch this video, you're able to find some sort of resource to guide you in the right direction. And that's when I recently stumbled across Naval Ravikant. I was fascinated by his outlook on life and Naval's unique way of thinking. But what I like about him is that he covers a wide range of subjects within his interviews. It's not just all about business, systems of thinking, self-awareness, and more. I love his almost philosophic way of thinking, combined with his experience in economics and wealth creation. His mindset, in my opinion, goes far beyond the standard advice given in most interviews. And in this video, we'll be going over some of his quotes and findings. Play long-term games with long-term people. Naval is a practitioner in compounding. He believes that all great things are a result from compounding. Let's take, for example, any type of relationship which is usually built over years of trust, which over time becomes highly valued, which is usually based over some good rapport, recommendations, or word of mouth, which have huge strength. Why? Because usually it's off the back of having a good relationship. I was talking to a friend the other day and we was talking about people who we both knew from school. Those people who seemingly seemed that they were on the path of success and go on and do great things, never actually went on to do anything special. Those A-grade students, for some reason, had just given up. And we both said it's funny how those characters who were just average in every way, looks, popularity, grades, they went on to create their own businesses and go on to do some impressive things. Those people back then who just seemed like ups, just needed a little bit more time to bloom on a time scale that was long enough. There was a time where I was impatient with everything. I did things so quickly and I expected quick results. I was more focused on the results as opposed to the process, so when things weren't working out, I would quickly change tactics, hoping that this would give me a different result. Only after having quite a few experiences, I know now, most good things take time. Patience is the key ingredient into getting what you want. Patience is our personal capacity to tolerate a period of discomfort. Patience is something we can learn. Can you think of a time where you've made a good decision impatiently? 9 times out of 10, it was probably the wrong choice. Do the inner work, practice self-awareness, and analyze what situations provoke you the most. And keep that in mind next time you're faced with a trigger. It might be a goal that is necessary for you to get out of a situation that you're in. Like when you start a new business, you're still working. Or it might be that impatience that comes from people that are around you that don't believe in you. And you want nothing more than to show them how wrong they are and how great you are doing with your goals. Or it might be that you have doubts and fears. In all these cases, and many more, I'm sure impatience can set in. But when that happens, it's important to see the bigger picture, your end goal. In this fast-paced world, we want to achieve things faster and better than the next person. We see stories of people that seemingly blow up out from nowhere. Those so-called overnight successes are backed up from years of trial and error, effort and skills that they have built. Instead, focus on the stories about the ventures that didn't exceed. Learn from the journey and the mistakes that others have made, and be prepared to make your own mistakes and learn from them also. I'm a fan of history and I enjoy going to historic places. I think at the back of my mind it reminds me that there was this huge period of history before me and there is going to be a huge period of history after me. And it sort of reminds me how sort of infinitesimal I am as a human being in this big world that we live in. It reminds me that life is short and I need to be present and in the moment. Because what you've experienced today, you're never going to experience those exact same things in those exact same order. How many of us get tied up in things that we have to do? We often take life too seriously, and that was me not too long ago. I'd be in the most beautiful settings, but my mind would not be present. I wasn't enjoying what was around me, and time just flew by. And I had to question how I viewed time. And I thought maybe I need to be a bit more fun, spontaneous, and say yes a little bit more, because maybe it's not as bad as I thought. We must let go of these wandering thoughts and these anxieties, and focus on the present moment in front of us. and our emotions at that moment. Naval suggests doing something different each day in order to let go. And hopefully you can get to a point where it becomes second nature. I've learnt an enormous amount from Naval, reading and listening and applying some of his key principles. And if you found any value in this video, I'd highly recommend checking him out. Until next time.